Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to teach music online. In the videos attached to this playlist, we're going to be going over some tutorials, some screen captures, examples of what you can create for your music class, and also other ideas that you can take, copy, and paste into your own Google Classrooms or your virtual online systems. The very first video is on Google Meet. And the reason why this is important is because when we teach music online, it is super important to keep up that 1-to-1 or 1-to-30, depending on your perspective, view with your students so they can see you and you can see them. Having that connection between everybody is hugely important. It takes it off of the screen, off of the page, if you will, and makes it something live. And as musicians and music teachers, we know that music is a live language and it's hard to teach on just paper or just on a screen without that connection. So if you're intimidated by Google Meet, then I advise you to watch this video. It'll show you exactly how easy it is to use. There's no problems with beginners walking in and seeming like professionals. If you have used Google Meet before, give it a try, watch the video. I think you'll see that there's a number of different things that are quite important that you can add as tips and tricks. Next up, Google Classroom. If you aren't using Google Classroom yet, I advise you do so. It is super, super easy to learn. A lot of teachers are intimidated by the amount of stuff that you can do on it, but believe me, there are literally just 1, 2, 3, 4 different things that you can do in here, but those 4 things are super powerful, and arguably if you have to teach music online, there's really nothing else you need as a framework for your classroom. In that video tutorial, it'll walk you through how to create a Google Classroom, how to invite students to that Google Classroom, how to create assignments, how to create questions, how to create instructional assignments, and also how to make quizzes with built-in rubrics. It's all right there for you in the playlist below. Next up, how to record for virtual music class assignments. This video can be used in 2 different ways. You can, number 1, use it yourself so that you can learn how to use the medium to record assignments. Or number 2, you can send it out to your students as is. This is a generic video I created so that all music teachers can use it in their classrooms. Now, you don't need to buy something like this. This is a Yeti microphone. I use it for all of my home studio recordings, and I have 2 in my classroom that I use for all sorts of recording assignments. You don't need any of that to record virtual music class assignments. What you need is a cell phone. Yes, a cell phone, that is it. You need nothing else. And inside of that video, that's for you and for all your students, it walks through everything you need to know about how to use your camera phone, your smartphone, your doohickey thing that slides or opens or whatever it is that we're using these days as a digital audio workstation. The microphones that are inside all of our devices are virtually unchanged. So it almost doesn't matter what phone you're using to do the recordings, as long as you have a basic voice memo or voice recording function. In the video, I walk through everything you need to know about how to record regardless of what device you're using. Next up, I included a sample video that I send out to all of my students that gives them an idea of how to take care of themselves and how to submit assignments to me online. This one's specific for my classroom. I would advise you to watch it if you have not yet made such a video. It's real super simple. You can use PowerPoint slides or Keynote slides or Google slides, and you just piece it together like a video, talk over it, and you're finished. It's easy peasy. The instructions on how to do it are in the description. And when you watch a video, you'll see how fun it is. It just kind of welcomes everybody, gives them ideas on what to do. I teach choral music. And I have 6th through 12th graders that I'm responsible for. But there are, very basic things that I can tell all of them to do. Same thing if I were a band instructor. Same thing if I was specifically only doing marching band. Same thing if I was specifically only doing competition chorus. All of these things require different special tips and techniques. Make a video and share it with the kids. While yes, you can teach it in a class, it's great to have it in this reference point, and you can include it in your signature and emails. You can include it in your Google Meets, post it onto your Google Classrooms, and it's vital. It's a place where students can go back and get beginner information and not feel embarrassed to ask you questions. Next up, a sample welcome video. Along those same lines, I have a welcome video. Now, think about this. If you're teaching music online in a situation where students are entering a virtual classroom, they learn and then they leave, you may or may not be able to see them on the screen. You may or may not have this interaction between the two of them. But if we were in a face-to-face situation, you would be welcoming the students into class. They would be saying hello to you. You would be saying hello to them. You would be asking things about how do they do with their homework? Did they practice? Did they rehearse? No, Tommy, you sit there. Susie, no, you sit there. All those things. Well, the best way to do that inside of a virtual representation of this classroom is to have the equivalent of a do now introduction video that you can show just like a beginning syllabus at the very beginning of your first class. The one down here in the playlist, again, it's for my own class, but you're welcome to use it if you'd like, or you can model it, copy it, and then create the same exact thing in PowerPoint slides, again, Keynote or what have you. And it's invaluable to have something like that when you're teaching music online. Next up, as a music teacher, if you happen to be teaching outside of the context of general music, it means that you have some sort of performance group or you have access to some sort of performance group of students that you work with on a regular basis. Chances are you have music that you've already performed with them, or you have music that they are working on from home and learning from scratch. In the video below in the playlist, it is number 6. It's called I Lived. In this situation, I had my chorus members learn the song through Google Meet and through Google Classroom. After they learned it, they recorded it into their cell phones, sent it to me. I took all of them, threw them into GarageBand, edited everything, put it all together, slapped a little bit of reverb on it, listened back to make sure everything was in sync, moved things where they had to be moved. Then I exported the audio and I added it to a montage of video that I created in iMovie. Please watch the video to see what the finished result looks like. In the description of that video, it explains how I did it. So if you would like to do it too, you can follow those directions. Nowadays, people are trying to do the expensive route of like using software like Final Cut Pro or Filmora to make such a performance video. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to. You can do this very simply. Focus your energies on what you're good at, teaching students how to make music. And if you agree that that's the most important thing, what you do with the video, how cool the video is, how many effects are inside of it, it's really irrelevant. It's all about having a visual representation that easily matches what it is that the kids are doing so that you can showcase the talents of the students. Next up, I have a sample writing lesson. Whether you teach band or general music or chorus or any grade level, having writing assignments is super important, especially when teaching online, because it's difficult to assess from a critical thinking standpoint what type of retention is coming in to students and what is being retained, processed, and then regurgitated into unique imaginative facts that they create in their own minds. And one such example is the lesson plan attached video number 7 in the playlist. I don't remember which one of the Broadway comparison lessons I put. I have a whole bunch of them on this channel that you can watch. I'll give you an example of one of them. One of them is Les Miserables and The Color Purple. And it says, Tony Awards lesson plan, Les Miserables versus The Color Purple. It's not a competition. What we're doing is we're using the original cast recordings of a medley performance from Les Miserables and from The Color Purple. It's loaded into a playlist. All you have to do is copy and paste that playlist that's down below, throw it into your Google Classroom, instant lesson. Now, what I ask students to do when they're watching videos online is I tell them exactly what it is that I want them to identify. So it's not just them watching and listening to music and watching another movie. They have to identify something specific. Inside the playlist, I have an introduction video. I made it for my classes, and I hope you use it for your classes. It's generic enough where we can all use it. But it's specific enough where students have a clear understanding as to what it is they actually have to do in that video, rather than just sit there and just watch it blindly like they do if they're just watching a regular television show. So in this specific example, I say, using only what you see and what you hear in this medley, tell me what you think the plot of the show is about. And in the video and in my Google Meet when I'm talking to the students, I say, mind you, even if you know the full and complete plot and storylines to The Color Purple and or Les Miserables, that's not what the assignment is. The assignment is that you are to come up with your own imaginative version based on what you see and hear. So is this more of a music class, or is it more of a visual comprehension and writing class? Well, you can call it what you like, but it's focusing on harnessing all those things we learn as a musician, adding the visual component of being forced to teach online, putting it together, and then having this cross-curricular language arts little piece where they have to write a short essay on it. I've had a lot of success with this lesson, and I hope you do too. Again, there's a whole bunch in the playlists on my YouTube channel, and you can feel free to use them all. Next up, number 8, creating a dance. Movement is key inside the general music classroom, and it's really tough to do online. Please watch the video called Create a Dance. It's the idea of being able to have the kids get up and move and make music using their bodies. Now, the trick here is to eliminate the video component. The first thing you might be thinking is, I want to make a video and I want the kids to make videos and send to me. Well, there's all sorts of sticky wickets you have to work through, and there's all sorts of intimidating factors with kids wanting to do that for their classes and whatnot. So I decided to eliminate it entirely. So what we're doing is we're having students create 3 dance moves. After they create the 3 dance moves, we will trust that they are doing it at home, but who knows? They have to write out what each dance move is. And then in your assessment of what they write, you just have to see if it matches the song that's included in the playlist. Then the other part of it is they do it for a second song, and then they are supposed to switch them so that they do the 3 dances for each of the 2 different songs, and then have to write about how successful or unsuccessful that was. And I do this using Google Forms. More information on that and all the descriptions in the videos below. Next up, I like making these little, I'm not sure what to call them, mini documentary info session things that I use for class to get them excited about a topic that they otherwise would not be excited about. So, for example, the one I included as number 9 in the playlist here is How Music Gives You Math Superpowers. Well, it's something, if that was on Netflix, the kid would just pass through it, right? But if I give it as an assignment and they give it a chance, they'll see that in this video that I created, which you can use in your classroom right now, copy and paste it. It has lots of cinematic things happening in the background. There's lots of changes in perspective and view. There's lots of new photos. There's lots of text bubbles and things flying in from all over the place. It keeps it interesting and fresh, and they actually do learn and retain. I've been testing it out, and it works fairly well in my classroom. So you can use mine. Feel free to use it. There's tons of others of these videos online. You can make your own. If you have any questions or have any ideas, just message me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you. And then finally is the idea of doing a music challenge. I love doing music challenges because not the viral component of having, somebody like, I don't know, I can't think of somebody, The Rock coming in to do your music challenge assignment. That's not the point. The point is for you to do something that creates this idea of community and unity online. So the one that I created was called the Back to Bach Music Challenge. And I asked students to watch a 60-second video, which is included below. Again, you're free to use it. You can even use the same challenge in your classroom. It would be fabulous. It talks about how you can use music to train your brain in the mornings to focus your mind on being more productive without having to read any books or do any study or prep work. Just use a piece of music. So it goes over how I did that with the Bach cello suites. And I did this every morning for 2 years, tracking percentage of productivity in my planner, how it increased over time. And it works. And students are starting to use that. Even if they only use it during the assignment, a 2-week project that's given online, they're doing it, they're learning a skill, and they're seeing that music is incredibly powerful and can be used in all sorts of ways that we don't actually think of on a regular basis. So that's it. Those are the 10 videos that are inside of the Google playlist. If you have any questions or comments, just post them right below. Again, feel free to message me, and I'll get you all the information I possibly can for anything that will help you learn how to teach music online. So again, thanks for watching.